I fear not the dark itself, but what may lurk within it. Welcome to Lurk, bringing you creepy, strange, and bone-chilling stories, with your host, Jamie Jackson.
Hey Lurkers, welcome back. Before we get started, I wanted to take care of some housekeeping. First, let me say thank God it is the year 2026 and 2025 is behind us. Supposedly, if you follow astrology, or not astrology, it would be the Chinese New Year, that 25 was the year of the snake, where you're supposed to shed your skin, so to speak, get rid of all the crap. And 26 is the year of the horse, which features forward momentum. So everything that I have seen and read and all that stuff, all the woo-woo stuff, says that this year is going to be much better. So fingers crossed, we'll see. I'm pleased with it so far. The other thing I wanted to mention is that through Buzzsprout, which is the hosting platform for the podcast, you have the ability to send a message. Now, when you send those messages, I am unable to reply. So I see them, I get an email notification, and I can read the message, but I cannot message you back. So I did have somebody who mentioned that they listened to the show and enjoy the show, that they're a little bit older than I am. I wanted to say thank you so much for the message. I did read it. But like I said, the only way I can reply is when I'm recording a new episode. I can touch base with that. As always, you can contact me through Facebook, and you can contact me through the email lurkpodcast@yahoo.com. So let's get started. Welcome back to another spine-chilling episode of Lurk. This week we are venturing into the heart of Arizona's Superstition Mountains, a jagged, desolate range that locals call the Devil's Playground. These peaks are a cauldron of mystery, bubbling with tales of lost gold, cursed treasures, and paranormal encounters that defy reason. From the fabled lost Dutchman's gold mine to whispers of desert portals, ancient guardians, and otherworldly presences, the Superstitions are a place where reality frays at the edges. For our new lurkers, welcome to the shadowy world of Lurk, where we dive deep into the paranormal, the mysterious, and the downright unsettling. For our veteran listeners, you know the drill. Grab your flashlight, maybe a map you'll never trust, and let's get lurking. Tonight we'll unravel the dark history of the Superstitions, sink our teeth into chilling eyewitness accounts, and ask what, or who, haunts the crags and canyons of this cursed range. Buckle up, because this is going to be a wild ride. Yeehaw! I promise I'm not drinking. Picture this. A rugged expanse of desert east of Phoenix, Arizona, where the Superstition Mountains rise like the bones of some ancient beast. Their name alone sets the tone, but their history is a labyrinth of greed, bloodshed, and mystery. The Apache people who have lived in this region for centuries revered these mountains as sacred, believing they were the domain of their thunder god, a place where spirits walked and the earth held secrets. They called them Sierra de la Espuma, the Foam Mountains, long before Spanish conquistadors arrived in the 1500s, hungry for gold. The Spanish brought with them tales of unimaginable wealth. By the 1800s, the legend of the lost Dutchman's gold mine took shape, centered on Jacob Waltz, a German immigrant, misnamed Dutchman by history, who allegedly discovered a rich gold vein in the 1840s. Waltz and his partner, Jacob Weiser, worked the mine in secret, but their success stirred trouble. The Apache, fiercely protective of their sacred land, were said to have ambushed the Peralta family, who were mining a similar vein, in a brutal massacre in 1848. Bodies littered the canyons, and the gold was lost, or cursed, depending on who you ask. Waltz died in 1891, leaving only cryptic clues to the mine's location, scrawled on a tattered map that treasure hunters still chase today. But the superstitions aren't just a backdrop for gold fever. They're a graveyard. Since Waltz's death, hundreds have ventured into the range, chasing the lost Dutchman's mine. Many never returned. In 1931, Adolf Ruth, a 66-year-old prospector, vanished while searching for the mine. His skull, found 6 months later near Weaver's Needle, had 2 bullet holes, a grim message etched in the bone. In 1947, James A. Cravey's headless remains were discovered. His death ruled an accident, though locals whispered of foul play. In 2009, Jesse Capon, a hiker from Denver, disappeared, his body later found wedged in a crevice, as if the mountain itself had claimed him. Official reports cite dehydration or falls, but the Apache tell darker tales of tuertums, small, cave-dwelling creatures that guard the mountains, and of glowing portals leading to realms beyond our own. You'll remember similar headless corpses being found in the Nahanni Valley. Is it only a coincidence that people die, often found headless, while prospecting gold in a sacred land, or something more? Is the gold cursed? There are stories of treasure hunters who have managed to find small amounts of gold in the Superstition Mountains, only to suffer from a string of bad luck and misfortune. These individuals have experienced accidents, illness, and even death, leading to the belief that the treasure is protected by a supernatural force. The cursed treasure is said to bring misfortune to anyone who tries to take it, ensuring that the wealth of the mountains remains hidden. Those who have experienced the curse of the treasure often speak of it in hushed tones, convinced that they have angered the spirits of the mountain. The Superstition Mountains' mystique deepened in the 20th century with rumors of military involvement. Locals reported black helicopters and unmarked vehicles near remote canyons, fueling speculation of an underground base, perhaps tied to extraterrestrial activity. In the 1970s, hikers claimed to see strange lights hovering over the range, pulsing in patterns that suggested intelligence. The Apache spoke of these phenomena centuries ago, describing star people who emerged from the earth. Could the superstitions be a nexus, a place where the veil between worlds is paper thin? The Superstition Mountains are more than a landscape. They're a living enigma, a place where history and myth collide. The terrain, with its maze of canyons, sheer cliffs, and hidden caves, seems designed to swallow secrets and people. But it's the energy of the place, that electric hum in the air, that keeps drawing us back. According to legend, Waltz's spirit haunts the Superstition Mountains, guarding the location of his hidden gold mine. Many treasure hunters have reported sightings of a shadowy figure watching them from the ridges, or felt an unexplainable presence guiding or hindering their search. Some believe that Waltz's ghost is protecting his treasure, ensuring that it remains undiscovered by those who would exploit it. Another chilling story is that of the Headless Horseman. This phantom rider is said to be the spirit of a miner who was decapitated in a brutal fight over gold. According to the legend, the headless ghost roams the trails at night, seeking revenge on those who dare to trespass on his territory. Witnesses have described seeing a spectral figure riding a ghostly horse, carrying his severed head under his arm as he gallops through the darkness. Those who have encountered this eerie apparition often describe a sense of impending doom and an overwhelming urge to flee the area. Among the many eerie sounds reported in the Superstition Mountains, the mournful cries of the weeping woman are the most haunting. This ghostly figure is believed to be the spirit of a woman who lost her husband and son in a tragic mining accident. Heartbroken and grief-stricken, she wanders the mountains, her sorrowful wails echoing through the canyons as she searches for her lost loved ones. Those who have heard the weeping woman's cries have also reported feeling an overwhelming sense of sadness and an unshakable urge to leave the area. One of the most unsettling phenomena reported in the Superstition Mountains is the sudden appearance of a dense black mist. What is this? A Lost episode? Please tell me you all watch Lost, because if you don't, I don't know if we can be friends. The smoke monster? Anyway. This eerie fog is said to engulf travelers without warning, causing feelings of intense dread and disorientation. Those who have encountered the black mist often lose their way, emerging hours later with no recollection of their time within it. Some believe that the mist is a manifestation of the spirits of those who died in the mountains, seeking to confuse and trap the living. There are numerous accounts of spectral miners appearing and working in the Superstition Mountains at night. These ghostly figures are believed to be the spirits of miners who died in accidents or under mysterious circumstances. Those who have seen them claim to hear the sounds of picks and shovels, and sometimes even voices, though no one is ever found. The phantom miners are thought to be continuing their search for gold in the afterlife, forever tied to the mountains they once worked. We aren't done with the list of paranormal occurrences in the Superstition Mountains just yet. Strange, flickering lights are often seen on the slopes of the mountains at night. These mysterious lights, sometimes referred to as will-o'-the-wisps, are thought to be the lanterns of ghostly prospectors searching for their lost fortunes. Some believe that the lights are also tied to extraterrestrial activity, adding another layer of intrigue to the already enigmatic area. The light moves erratically, appearing and disappearing with no discernible pattern. As witnesses watch, the light seems to draw closer, moving through the trees and across the rocks. Those who have tried to approach the lights find that they vanish as they get closer. Whether the lights are the spirits of long-dead prospectors or something even more otherworldly, their appearance remains one of the most enduring mysteries of the Superstition Mountains. Let's dive into some eyewitness accounts that suggest the superstitions hold more than just gold. Our first story comes from a hiker named Sarah. Sarah and her boyfriend were camping near the Superstition's first water trailhead in late fall, seeking a quiet escape from Phoenix. On their second night, around 2 a.m., they woke to heavy footsteps circling their tent. Thinking it was a coyote or javelina, which is a wild pig, Sarah's boyfriend grabbed a flashlight and unzipped the tent, only to find nothing but darkness. The desert was silent, but the air felt charged, like static before a storm. Then, about 50 yards away, they saw it, a glowing green light, roughly door-shaped, pulsing among the rocks. Sarah described it as alive, like it was breathing. They watched, frozen, as the light flickered and vanished. The footsteps never returned, but the next morning they found strange circular marks in the dirt, too large to be human, too precise to be natural. Sarah hasn't returned to the Superstitions, and she says she never will. That glowing portal echoes Apache legends of doorways to other worlds. But Sarah's not alone. In 2000, Stephen Brody, an artist and rock collector, shared a chilling encounter with a friend, later documented on a paranormal website. Stephen and his buddy were exploring a bluff near Blacktop Mesa, ignoring local warnings about disappearances. As they hiked, Stephen felt an overwhelming sense of being watched, like eyes were boring into his back. That night, camped under the stars, they heard whispers, indistinct voices in a language neither recognized, drifting from the darkness. The next day, Stephen ventured into a narrow canyon alone. The air grew heavy, his vision blurred, and he felt like he was wading through molasses. Then he saw it, a tall, cloaked figure, its edges shimmering like heat waves gliding across the rocks. It didn't walk, it moved, unnatural and fluid. Stephen ran, reuniting with his friend in a panic. Months later, he began painting surreal, otherworldly landscapes, scenes he claimed came in dreams after that trip. Then, in 2001, Stephen vanished from his Phoenix apartment, leaving his art and belongings behind. His friend believes the mountains marked him. Let's fast forward to 2024 with a story from a Reddit user who we'll call Mike. Mike and his friend Abdullah were hiking with a local guide they'd met at a Superstition trailhead. The guide, a grizzled Phoenix native, regaled them with tales of the lost Dutchman, but warned them to stay on the marked paths. As they ventured deeper into the narrow pass near Weaver's Needle, the guide grew tense. Around dusk, the air turned cold, unnaturally so, and Mike felt a prickling on his neck. The guide stopped dead, staring at a cluster of boulders. There, in the shadows, stood a tall, thin figure, cloaked and motionless, its outline blending into the rock. Abdullah whispered, "That's not human," and the guide urged them to back away slowly. As they retreated, Mike heard a low guttural sound, like a growl mixed with static. The guide later admitted he'd seen these wraiths before, entities locals believe guard the mountains. Mike said the guide quit leading hikes after that day. Our next story takes us to 2018, shared by a hiker named Elena. Elena, an experienced outdoorswoman, was exploring a remote canyon in the Superstitions with her dog Rusty. Around midday, Rusty began acting strangely, whining and refusing to move forward. Elena noticed the temperature drop sharply, despite the blazing Arizona sun. Then she saw movement, a group of small humanoid figures, no taller than 3 feet, darting between the rocks. They were pale, almost translucent, with oversized eyes that glinted like obsidian. Elena froze, her heart pounding, as one figure turned and stared directly at her. She described its gaze as empty but knowing. Rusty bolted and Elena followed, running until they reached the trailhead. Locals later told her she'd encountered the Tuartums, the Apaches' cave dwellers said to protect sacred sites. Elena's blog post ended with a warning. The Superstitions don't want you there. Then there's the story about Arizona hauntings from 2015, shared by a photographer named Jenna. Jenna was in the Superstitions to capture sunset shots near Flatiron Peak. As she set up her tripod, she noticed her camera's battery draining rapidly, despite being fully charged. Then she heard a low hum, like a distant engine coming from the ground itself. Curious, she followed the sound to a small cave opening. Inside, she saw faint flickering lights, not reflections, but orbs dancing in patterns. Suddenly, her camera shut off, and she felt a wave of nausea. As she stumbled back, she glimpsed a shadow, tall, humanoid, but impossibly thin, watching her from the cave's mouth. Jenna packed up and left, but when she reviewed her photos later, several frames showed blurry, indistinct shapes that hadn't been visible to her naked eye. Our next account comes from 1985, relayed by a park ranger named Daniel that he shared in a 1990s interview with a local Arizona historian. Daniel was patrolling near a Peralta trail when he encountered a hiker in distress, claiming he'd been chased by something. The hiker, a man in his 30s, said he'd been exploring an unmarked trail when he felt a sudden pressure, like the air was squeezing him. He turned to see a figure, tall, cloaked, and hooded, standing on a ridge above. It didn't move, but its presence felt wrong, as Daniel recalled the hiker saying. The man fled, hearing footsteps behind him that stopped abruptly when he reached the main trail. Daniel escorted him to safety, but later searched the area and found no tracks or signs of anyone else. He noted that other rangers had reported similar sightings over the years, always near the same ridge, which locals avoid to this day. And one final account, from 1996, comes from Tom, whose story was shared with a paranormal investigator and later published. Tom, a retired miner, explored an abandoned shaft in the Superstitions, ignoring the rusted no entry sign. Deep inside, the air grew humid and his flashlight flickered. Then he saw figures, humanoid but translucent, like holograms, emerging from the walls. They moved silently, their forms shifting as if projected. Terrified, Tom fled, only to be intercepted outside by men in black uniforms. They detained him for 72 hours in a nondescript facility in Mesa, questioning him about what he'd seen. They released him with a plane ticket to Denver and a warning, don't come back. Tom later learned of the miners who'd seen similar holographic walls in the shafts, but they refused to speak publicly, fearing retaliation. Was this a military cover-up, an alien base, or something beyond our understanding? So what's happening in the Superstition Mountains? The lost Dutchman legend could be a tall tale, born of greed and embellished over the centuries. But the body count, Adolph Ruth, James Cravey, Jesse Capon, and countless others, suggests a pattern too grim to dismiss. The Apache's stories of tuartums and portals align eerily with modern accounts of glowing lights and cloaked figures. Sarah's green doorway, Elena's small humanoids, and Tom's holographic entities all point to something otherworldly, something that transcends a simple curse. The military angle adds another layer. Reports of black helicopters, unmarked vehicles, and men in black uniforms, like those who detained Tom, fuel theories of a hidden base, perhaps tied to extraterrestrial technology. The 1970 sightings of pulsating lights and the Apache Star People legends suggest the Superstitions might be a hotspot for interdimensional activity. Some researchers propose the mountains sit on a ley line, a geographic energy point that amplifies paranormal phenomena. Others believe the gold itself is cursed, guarded by entities that punish trespassers. Skeptics might chalk it up to desert mirages, dehydration, or psychological weight of the mountain's reputation. The terrain is brutal, temperatures soar above 110 degrees Fahrenheit, and the labyrinth of the canyons disorient even seasoned hikers. But the consistency of these stories, spanning centuries and cultures, defies easy explanation. The cloaked wraiths seen by Stephen and Mike, the tuartums encountered by Elena, and the glowing portals described by Sarah and the Apache, these aren't isolated incidents. They're threads in a tapestry of high strangeness. The Superstition Mountains seem to hum with an energy that's alive, almost sentient. They draw people in, treasure hunters, hikers, dreamers, and some never leave. Whether it's a curse, a portal, or something we can't yet name, one thing is clear. These mountains don't give up their secrets easily. And that's it for this episode, Lurkers. The Superstition Mountains remain one of America's most haunting enigmas, a place where the past and the paranormal collide in a dance of shadows. Are they a cursed treasure trove, a gateway to another dimension, or simply a desert that preys on the unwary? The truth is out there, lurking in the canyons. If you've had your own encounter in the Superstitions or anywhere else, send us your story at lurkpodcast@yahoo.com. We would love to share it on a future episode. And if you're enjoying Lurk, please leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. It helps us keep the shadows alive. You can find Lurk on all major podcast platforms, from Spotify to Apple Podcasts, so subscribe and never miss an episode. Visit us at lurkpodcast.com, where you'll find every episode, links to our social media, and our blog packed with extra creepy content. While you're there, sign up for our monthly newsletter to get the latest updates, behind-the-scenes tidbits, and exclusive paranormal goodies delivered straight to your inbox. Keep your eyes on the horizon, your flashlight charged, and your courage intact. And until next time, keep lurking.